Thank you so much, Raz, for speaking to CNN News 18. Raz, you was 700 meters away from Gaza strips. Perhaps his village is 700 meters away from Gaza Strip. Name of his village is Native Hasara, one of the worst affected village and perhaps the victim of Hamas barbarism. Raz managed to leave that place and reach Jerusalem safely. But unfortunately, his other neighbors, and what he's telling me is that 21 of his neighbors got killed by Hamas militants on Saturday. Raz, if you could please elaborate a little bit what exactly happened and how did these militants reach your locality and what all they did?
First of all, they are not militants, they are terrorists. And
Okay.
second of all, my neighbors were not killed, they were brutally murdered by terrorists. As you mentioned, my community is very close to the border. So actually to where I live, the 6 armed terrorists reached at the first step of the attack as kind of a decoy for the whole massive attack. And they came with motorized parachutes, like paragliders. So
Okay.
they got above the border. 3 of them landed in 3 different locations in the community, carrying 6 fully armed, fully geared terrorists. That time was 6:40 in the morning. Since they landed, they started running through the community. As I said, they landed in 3 prearranged locations, in 3 sites of the community, and started marching in directions, walking door to door. Anybody who got in their faces were murdered, and then they started entering house by house, slaughtering, butchering, murdering innocent individual. The youngest one was 17 and the oldest one was 85 in their houses, in their beds, in cruel act of barbarism that even after shooting, each one of the victims was shot in the head multiple times, up to a time it's very hard to even identify the bodies. And that took place all day long, starting Saturday 6:40 in the morning and all the way down to late afternoon until the army actually got there and got a hold of the situation.
You have been staying near Gaza Strip. So have you ever expected something of this sort to happen, or have you ever experienced Hamas terrorists ever before, or perhaps have ever witnessed any sort of a minor terrorist strike or anything in your locality before?
Not even in our wildest dreams we have imagined something like that. I'm part of the immediate response team of the community, and we trained in different scenarios. And our worst case scenario was maybe a couple of terrorists trying to jump the fence or entering via a tunnel. But to be a part of that huge operation when a couple of terrorists, and as soon after was cleared, not only in my community, but over 1,000 entered all around Israel, and basically caught us off guard, and the army did not have enough power to fight them all, and we civilians actually had to fight them ourselves. Now it's something we didn't expect in our wildest dreams. We've seen violence. My community is targeted always on a monthly basis by Hamas shooting missiles at us. We all have bomb shelters in our houses, and we are used to being a danger kind of, but nothing like that we can ever imagine. Not the amount of the power and not the brutality and the horrors that the violence of those beasts terrorists have actually behaved in.
Yeah. Tell me something about your story. How did you manage to escape that place, that situation, and reach Jerusalem? Raz is right now, for our viewers, Raz is right now staying at a hotel in Jerusalem, and perhaps he is again trying to build his life from a scratch because everything is already devastated, destructed by Hamas terrorists. Raz, if you could tell a little bit about how you escaped that moment, that place, and reach safely to Jerusalem.
Well, that's even a worse story. When this whole thing started, I was out for a weekend with friends. When the news started getting in, my son was alone in the house. So my son had to go through this whole 10 hours locked inside our bomb shelter in the house. He locked the whole house. When he was hearing constant shelling of mortars and bombs shot by Hamas, and constant gunfights, shooting, because the terrorists were literally by our house, and he was hearing yelling in Arabic, and he was hearing all the shooting, and he was hearing all the shelling. And we got in the groups, in the texts, people fighting for their lives, people yelling that somebody entered their house. And all of that time, I cannot come back home because everything was under fire. The first time I saw my son is at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, after 10 hours of him being hiding for his life in the bomb shelter, without even having the option to go to the bathroom or anything. And as a parent, there's nothing worse you can do. I only came back to the community the day after, in Sunday, to find the horrendous leftovers of what was taken care the day before. And as we speak today, the army has evacuated all of us from that community. And now it's a closed military territory. It is actually a war zone.
Okay. Thank you so much, Raz, for speaking to CNN News 18 and for sharing this terrifying ordeal of that day.